This is Punk Rock and Politics, and today is August 8th, 2017, and this is episode number 32. Let's do this.
These days are strange, it's true.
I would bomb the shit out of them.
If you think that punk rock doesn't mix with politics, you're wrong.
Kind of all you can do when you're 16, you grab a guitar, you grab a pencil, and you get to work.
Welcome to Punk Rock and Politics. Today we'll be talking to the guys from the band New Crimes about the inspiration behind their music, the current state of punk music, and the effect of religion on today's society. Then on Open Mic's Last Call, we'll talk about Trump's drone killings and briefly go over the crazy Awan brothers scandal. So let's get to the political mosh pit, but first, here's the news of the week.
Here's what's making news.
There's a massive shakeup with the White House cabinet. Sean Spicer is out as White House press secretary and Anthony Scaramucci is in. And Scaramucci is out on request of the new Chief of Staff, John Kelly, who replaced the former Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus. Are you confused yet? But Sarah Huckabee Sanders is now the sacrificial lamb, I mean the current White House press secretary. And in legal news, Jeff Sessions is going after leakers and the media?
This culture of leaking must stop. Since January, the department has more than tripled the number of active leak investigations compared to the number pending at the end of the last administration. And we've already charged 4 people with unlawfully disclosing classified material or with concealing contacts with federal officers. One of the things we are doing is reviewing policies affecting media subpoenas. We respect the important role that the press plays and will give them respect. But it is not unlimited. They cannot place lives at risk with impunity. We must balance the press's role with protecting our national security and the lives of those who serve in the intelligence community, the armed forces, and all law-abiding Americans. And I have this warning for would-be leakers: don't do it.
And in international news, the UN Security Council will impose new sanctions on North Korea for its continued ballistic missile tests. And here is the US Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley.
The North Korean threat has not left us. It is rapidly growing more dangerous. We've seen 2 ICBMs fired in just the last month. Further action is required. The United States is taking and will continue to take prudent defensive measures to protect ourselves and our allies. Our annual joint military exercises, for instance, are transparent and defense-oriented. They have been carried out regularly and openly for nearly 40 years.
Sounds like more warmongering from America. And on this day in rock history, August 8th, 1981, MTV broadcasted its first stereo concert by REO Speedwagon. And come to think about it, now you can just live stream a concert from your phone. Wow, how far we've come. And that's the news of the week! Any regular listener to the Punk Rock and Politics podcast would know how we like to mix punk, rock, ska, hip-hop into the show whenever it's possible. That's why I was so excited this past Friday when one of my favorite local San Diego venues called the Tower Bar had a show called Hip Hop vs. Punk Rock. This monthly setup features 2 hip-hop groups and 2 punk bands who play in a small venue on a tiny stage. Let's just say it makes for a great night. I was able to make it out this past Friday and I saw the band New Crimes play a set.
We have one last song, there's only one more. Yeah! So get a little cozy. We'll do this one last song. It's about stupid Donald Trump and motherfucker, it's the same shit. Yeah! Alright. This song's called Lost Guys.
New Crimes is a hardcore punk band based out of San Diego, California. Their lyrics are a loud rejection of the political class and the religious status quo. New Crimes tries and succeeds with their in-your-face lyrical critique of today's society without being too preachy, while their music really holds a solid foundation. The bass riffs are fast and tight, blending perfectly with the solid drum rolls throughout their songs. This all mixed together with some classic punk rock guitar solos over the top. New Crimes may be a new band, but they have great potential, and with new music on the way, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about New Crimes in the near future. And at the show, I was lucky enough to talk with the guys from the band. But before we get to the interview, let's check out one of their songs. Here's Bones by New Crimes. By New Crimes, and I am at Punk Rock vs. Hip Hop Night, where the guys from the band New Crimes are playing. What's up, guys, and welcome to Punk Rock and Politics.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast. I just kind of came down here to this show. I saw they were playing at one of my favorite venues here in San Diego, the Tower Bar, so I just kind of bombarded them with an interview. So
can't beat it. It's our home away from home.
Exactly, man. So do you want to go through and kind of give everyone introduce yourself and what you play in the band?
Sure. My name is Justin. I'm the vocalist.
Bobby on drums.
Gary on guitar.
Jay on bass.
Awesome. And you guys are located out of San Diego, California, and your music's kind of like a political punk, like harder punk style. What would you describe your band and your music?
Sure, I think that's fair. I think Gary, who's sort of the pioneer of this whole fucking thing, could probably give you a better idea of what he was going for when he put this thing together. So I'm going to hand it over to Gary.
Nice.
Thanks, Justin.
You're welcome.
I wanted to start a punk band, and you know, there's so many labels and different subgenres and genres, and not really concerned with that. And all of us kind of come from different musical backgrounds and have different influences. Excuse me. We all like heavy music, aggressive political music. So I mean, there's like an old school kind of feel to our music, I think, because that's kind of the music I grew up listening to, and I'm the only guitar player, and I write the riffs, and we come together and write the music. But so I mean, as far as the genre, it's just punk rock, hardcore.
Yeah, definitely.
Bobby, you might have something to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think one part that can kind of explain maybe not the sound as much as the angle is the band basically came together because really it comes down to a Subhuman show. And so I feel like that's a pretty good explanation of where our values were as a band, and just the influence of using music like those types of bands do to make that kind of point. So as a political tool. Social commentary,
pushing kind of a political commentary. It really comes through a lot of the lyrics,
right?
And whatnot.
And given the time that we came together, which was pretty recently, it was right before November. Gary and I played for the first time. So
There was an election right around that.
Yeah, something was going on. It just became very apparent that punk rock was going to be needed, and the timing worked out great.
All right. Okay, so that's a great segue into another question. I ask a lot of bands and a lot of musicians, like, will Trump make punk rock great again? And a lot of people kind of either say, yeah, for sure, or they get really offended by that. Say like,
Interview's over.
They were saying punk rock has always been great, So I don't know, what would your opinion be? Because you totally did just say that punk rock would be relevant, You did,
dude. Absolutely. I mean,
no, I'm like, thank you, finally.
Right. That ideology, I mean, I don't think, read our lyrics, it's obviously not something we support. If you look at the history of punk rock with Reagan Youth and me personally, Crass, and all of these bands who kind of rebelled against this really ultra conservative agenda, and whether it was Thatcher right wing or Reagan right wing, it was a time where everyone came forward. I think now is different, but Gary said shortly after that election, like, all right, are you ready? Like, this is the time, and Justin took it from there with the words, and so will he make it great again? I think he'll give it an opportunity in a strange way for it to be great. Like, if someone gets stabbed, it gives a surgeon a really good opportunity to be a great surgeon.
Or theoretically, if someone's shot, with the whole Black Lives Matter and the anti-police brutality movement, you really see advances in that movement when someone gets shot and killed. But when no kids are getting shot or killed, no one's talking about police brutality. So that kind of goes to that. It's
getting shot and killed. It's just
it's not on the video and going viral. Exactly. Which makes it an issue now, which is awesome that we have that technology. So
right. Yeah, so it's not ideal. I think a lot of people who have that vision would say, well, we'd rather just see something we support and agree with that would make our country a better place. But I don't know, along the way, I think punk rock's it's getting angrier. It's pissed off, and I'm stoked.
I think there's going to be some sort of resurgence, or, definitely. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder if punk rock is going to make a resurgence or something like that. I know something is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be punk rock or whatever, because, all of us, we're older guys. We know punk rock. We grew up with it. I feel like something's going to happen, maybe that no one's heard before. There's going to be a new voice, a new movement. Is it going to be based in punk? It might be based in hip hop. It might be based somewhere, but there's anger there. There's aggression there. It needs to get out somehow. We're doing what we need to do. For us, knowing what we know.
Definitely.
And that's all we can do.
Yeah.
The kids, the youth, they got to do what they got to do, and I feel like something is going to come from this.
Boiling over.
Something positive. I mean, punk is a positive thing that came from negativity, and I feel like something positive is going to come from the negativity that is the world we are in right now.
Definitely.
is it going to be a resurgence of punk? Is it going to be something new? Is it going to be a tweak on it, a new angle?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm
knows.
excited to find out. I'm excited to see it, and I'm ready.
Oh, me too. I mean, I think that's totally true as far as the political, social aspect of it, and then, but more so even music, because I think it was in 2004, 2007, the turntables passed the Fender guitar as being the most sold musical instrument, like, in history. So I think the EDM and the overproduction is going to kind of collapse, kind of like what Nirvana did in the 90s. But yeah, what it's going to be, who knows? And it would be awesome if anyone knew. They would probably capitalize on it and make a lot of money. But let's go one more song by you guys, and then we'll hop into the political mosh pit and talk a little bit about politics. So here is GOP by New Crimes.
Right on.
That was GOP by New Crimes. And I guess there's kind of an interesting story about how that song came to fruition. So you wanna let us know about that?
Well, actually, I think it was probably like a weekend-long bender between me and Gary and some friends, and we were sort of at the tail end of it, but wanted to keep it going. And we were walking down to the Riviera Club on El Cajon Boulevard, University, and it was probably 11 o'clock a.m.
Which we're really close to that area right now, and then there's helicopters.
Yeah.
So this is probably what was happening.
Yeah.
We're filming the vibe.
Sure.
So go on.
Yeah, there you go.
Building the
scene. And Gary just said something along the lines of, when the party's over, we all die. And being that we have sort of a political slant to our music, I heard that and I was like, man, that's fucking catchy. Let's riff on that. And sure enough, next time we got into the studio, we worked on getting the song done and kind of spun it a little bit. You had that sort of catchy chorus, but there's also some anti-religious sort of overtones to the whole thing, and then also some anti-conservative Republican shit in there too. I think obviously with the title, but it's a play on words, and we had fun with it. I think the band, and you'll hear a lot of it. I try to limit it a little bit because I don't want to come across as too preachy, which may be a little ironic, but very, very anti-religious. I think that's sort of the root of a lot of the issues that we're dealing with in society, and the divisions that we have. I think can be a lot of it can be based in sort of religious zealots.
Definitely. And okay, so I definitely see on the left, I mean, I identify as politically on the left, but I am constantly talking shit about the left because I see a lot of problems there, and I think they could get better,
Yep.
So on the left, as far as the anti-religion, they'll kind of bash all religions except Muslim faith, which I think Trump is really going after excessively because both parties are pushing endless war strategy. Obama pushed war, Bush pushed war, Trump's pushing war.
Sure.
Both parties are endless war.
Mm-hmm.
But well, exactly, the military-industrial complex. But the fact that the left is almost framing it as all Muslims are, or all the Muslim faith isn't violent at all, and then Trump is almost trying to paint them all as extremists, which there has to be some sort of way in the middle. But if you say anything negative about Muslims, you're automatically a racist.
I don't. Let's put it this way. I don't think Muslims or extremist Muslims are any more violent or less violent than extreme Christians.
I think facts will bear that out.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, in here you're going to die by a white Christian male rather than a Muslim.
So
exactly.
Am I offended when you see the travel ban and at the very early on Christian Syrians are okay to come across but Muslims aren't? That shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But I don't. I mean, to me, all religion, there's violent overtones to it, and it's 100% holding us back.
Yeah, and I personally feel agnostic, but I mean religion, and then also that's just one thing that if you go there, that triggers people, like even more than politics.
Yeah.
Like I love talking politics, and a lot of people get pissed, but religion, so how do you talk? How do you go there? How do you address that?
I think it depends on the forum. When you say how do you go there, I mean, me personally, I don't think any of us, we don't look to pick a fight, but if it comes up, somebody starts talking about it, then we'll give our viewpoint respectfully, usually, sometimes, depending on how many beers we've had. But, so how do you, most people, you don't talk about religion and politics at Thanksgiving with your family, and so I'm not one to pick a fight, but if somebody wants to talk to me about my political views or my views on religion, then I'll definitely candidly share my views.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of times if you have been approached by like missionaries or Jehovah's Witness or something, usually they'll be like, try to give you their pamphlet, and then when you try to talk, they're like, "Oh no," have you ever had that experience, kind of? Or do you just go off?
I've had no, I usually don't go off. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah.
Hey, there is no God. Have a nice day. You gotta respect people, but at the same time, I just kind of build off what Justin was saying earlier. A lot of the problems rooted even in politics come from people's religious views and the bigotry that comes from we're a Christian nation, right?
Yes.
In quotes. But what does the Christian right produce as far as social anti-gay, anti-abortion, and they'll
well, you look at Mike Pence. You look at Mike Pence, and Mike Pence is a poster child for the conservative right. And that guy is creepy as fuck. I mean, I'm pretty sure he believes in the the anti-gay conversion therapy. I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's extreme to the far extreme, and a lot of right now with the Russia scandal and everyone pushing this anti-Trump agenda. If we get Trump out, we get Pence. So I mean, I think they're both equally as bad, but that kind of scare. Yeah, because I think Pence would know how to push through actual bills that would get passed, opposed to Trump, who's just erratic as fuck.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it's something
it goes overlooked.
Generally fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. But we being in a red or a blue state here in California, it's not as bad as a lot of other states where they don't have any Planned Parenthoods available because of the far right. So what are some things here? I know, that's more in your face from religions that you notice. You mean
in California specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. Gay marriage is now legal everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, abortion's still the law. I mean, Roe v. Wade's still the law of the
exactly,
land.
yeah.
So, I mean, those are basically the two issues where, people will vote against their own interests as long as you're anti-gay and you're anti-abortion. And
yeah.
So as far as California versus the United States, I mean,
We're fairly insulated. We're fairly insulated in California. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, it's tough in California. We're a pretty progressive state, and it's tough because we're not going to feel a lot of the effects of a lot of this, but I'm going to see it.
Exactly.
I'm going to see it in other parts. I know people in other. I have family in other states. I have, I have know people in other places, and it's just tough to sit here and it feels like I'm helpless. What can I do? I'm one man, one vote. My representative in Congress is a right wing conservative. It's Daryl Issa.
Isa. He's one of the worst.
Yeah,
he really
there's
is.
nothing I can do. I vote against him, but I get one vote.
Yeah.
I do what I can do, but but other than that, I
really
feel.
Want to get down to it. Our entire democracy is a shit. The United States democracy doesn't matter who the fuck's in office. All right.
And I think that. I think that's a really great point, man. Because it really comes down to it that it's like both parties are bought and sold. No, it's not. It's like they're controlled by the corporations. Exactly. It's 100%. More. Yeah, it's more right. What corporation controls what politician.
Right.
And then they have either a conservative slant or they're whatever, however they have to play to their base. But at the end of the day, they all really work for the corporations, or like you're saying, the military-industrial complex, and it definitely is hindering on democracy. So, what do you guys see about getting money out of politics? What do you think would be the solution there?
Man, that's a tough one.
Right.
I mean, you can theoretically talk about how capitalism and democracy are incompatible, because they are. As long as corporations have votes and as long as there's campaign finance and all that, there's never going to be a real democracy in America. But what can we do about it? We can play punk rock music. We can talk about how angry we are. We can live lives that, local, think globally, act locally, that whole thing. I mean, that's all we can really do, unless we're ready to fucking take to the streets and storm the Bastille. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Right.
And we're nowhere near ready for that.
No.
And we don't have enough power and will, but doesn't mean that we need to roll over and succumb to the system. We can live lives. We have kids, a lot of us in this band, and we're going to raise our kids to be conscious citizens and respectful of people and to not be materialistic assholes, and you know what I mean? What can you do? But I mean, the system's fucked, and capitalism is the law of the land, and corporations run the country, and this is nothing new. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, but people who
I think it was. I don't think even 10 years ago as many people were aware of how corrupt the system is and how corporations own the system. And I think now it's kind of like you said, like everyone knows, or pretty much everyone knows, or everyone thinks something's wrong, or they have a or a hunch, that something's wrong. So I think, like you said, you guys are making punk rock music. You're putting, lyrics in the music that might make some kids think a little bit who wouldn't think, or, you guys are coming on here just talking a little bit about politics, and we put the podcast out every week. A few people listen to it, So like you said,
doing an awesome thing.
Yeah, and like you said, you raise your family to be a good people, and I think that's kind of what it is. And I think that's like what the the anarchy, punk rock, DIY, the movement, the community, it's all about, treat others as you want to be treated, take care of each other and yourself, and we'll be good. But yeah, we got to point out how corrupt the system is, so people who don't know, maybe they'll catch on, and you guys write fucking songs about it. So
I mean, there's an awareness of it now that I mean, especially if we look at the South Bay San Diego scene, it's young kids writing really political stuff and an awareness that,
Nice.
I mean, you know, high schoolers are going to be pissed off all across the country forever for a lot of different reasons, but it is inspiring to see kids who are, it is inspiring to see these kids, and especially in the South Bay, writing punk songs that are extremely political, and they're like 16.
Yes.
And it's just kind of got this very forward thinking of, we have the power, we just need to do something with it, which, okay, yeah, maybe it's idealistic to an extent, but it's kind of all you can do when you're 16. You grab a guitar, you grab a pencil, and you get to work, and they're doing that. And I think during the 8 years of Obama, you saw just kind of maybe more of a passive, like people were satisfied enough, you know, I'm guilty as well. But during the Bush years, there was kind of this other reemergence with all these bands coming back out, and the Rock Against Bush, that whole series, and everyone coming out and going, there's something serious. But even then, people were, you know, with
complacent.
Everything around the quote-unquote war on terror and stuff, that people were still tiptoeing. And now you're seeing kids come out and go, especially in San Diego, where so many of the kids feel targeted because of their ethnicity and feel targeted by this administration because their families are now in danger. They're coming out and writing punk songs about it, and that's something like
awesome.
You got a little bit of it from like Union 13 or something. They kind of had a little bit of that, but now the South Bay scene is
and a lot of those kids, like, man, they were born like around or after 9/11, and that was like, so they've been alive their entire fucking lives. They've been in creation. We've been at war, you know, like, how crazy is that? This is the longest war in the history of America. So I mean, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear more kids and younger kids are writing music, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure you guys have all been in punk bands since you were kids, and like, what kind of creative outlet and how awesome that is. And it's good to keep you focused on things and, you know, help you advance and give you that creative outlet. So I mean, that's really awesome to hear that kids are still doing that. That gives me a lot of hope for the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks to teachers like Bobby.
Dude, man, my mom's a teacher, dude. Teachers are like one of the most important and underpaid and underappreciated people in our society.
Yeah,
you know?
Betsy DeVos is really helping us out, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
all
they know how to value
all right, you just you just secured yourself in for a whole nother podcast, buddy. Oh man. You're in a whole nother podcast. Well, dude, before I let you guys go, can you let everyone know online what's the best place to find your music?
We're on Bandcamp and most of the social media platforms. It's New Crimes Band is the handle for most of our things. I think almost all.
Cool.
So yeah, check it out.
Cool.
But Bandcamp, download our shit free. Come to our shows. We'll give you free CDs. We'll give you stickers. We're not charging anybody anything for any of this shit.
Bobby's having a baby, so we're not going to play a show probably for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you guys were going on a break, so that's why.
Hiatus.
Oh, congratulations! Is it a boy or girl?
We're finding out. We're
no
finding
way.
out as it comes
You're doing
out.
the old school way. Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's so awesome. Congratulations, though, man. That's life changing and in a great way. So.
Look out for us. I
yeah.
think in October we're looking at booking a show in Bancroft.
And you guys are,
at Bancroft.
and then put out some more new music and stuff.
For sure, man. Yeah, we'll be doing some more songs. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Cool.
I think you can look out for another little 3-song demo here pretty soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we have more songs, and then we have Betsy DeVos to talk about. So looks like you guys are going to be on for another podcast sometime. So thanks a lot for. Oh, okay. See, shit changes so fast. I swear, by the time I get this recorded and put online, shit's already changed. It's it's insane. Yeah, fake news. Well, hey, thanks a lot, guys, for coming on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we have one more as we head out. This is going to be Last Cause by New Crimes.
Forgetting what we're fighting for.
All right, let's give it up for New Crimes. And when I led into that song earlier, I totally said the wrong title. That was actually Lost Cause by New Crimes. I don't know what I said before, but I know it's wrong. And that's one thing I get very picky. Sometimes I'll accidentally say one of the band members is a wrong name, or I'll go in as one of the songs and I'll say mispronounce one of the titles of one of the band songs, and that's a pet peeve of mine. So I definitely wanted to go back and make sure I corrected that mistake. So I wanted to also thank New Crimes. I mean, they had no idea. I just showed up there, just kind of out of nowhere at the Tower Bar, and bombarded them. Was like, yo, guys, you want to do an interview and talk about some politics? And they were totally down, and then they did a show and they rocked it. They're a really new band, only a couple months, and they're super tight. Again, at one of my favorite venues, the Tower Bar. This venue is just like, I think it was built in the 1930s, so it's almost 100 years old, and it just has all these cool posters, and there's like a bunch of autographs, from some of the Ramones have pictures that they sign there. Then they do a projection on the wall and they play, old 70s like Revenge of the Nerd movies and stuff, and it's super rad and retro, and just it has such an awesome vibe, and everyone there is so chill. And they have some of my favorite beer on tap, which is 805 brewed by Firestone Walker, and they have that on tap there, which I'm like, yes. So I want to totally say thank you so much to New Crimes for doing that and everything, and welcome to Open Mic's Last Call. You made it all the way to the end of the episode. Congratulations once again, and welcome back. Oh man, it was a pretty fun vacation, and I'm back now, so nothing happened, right? During the last 2 weeks I was gone? Oh man, I'm just gonna quickly go over. I saw that Spicer was out. I mean, I kind of had a feeling he was gonna be gone, especially with Sarah Huckabee Sanders always being pushed out there, and SNL was just destroying Spicer. Melissa McCarthy, I think it was. She was just. I mean, I'm not a big fan of hers, but she was destroying Spicer every Saturday night. It was pretty good. So now then they put Scaramucci in, that Anthony Scaramucci, which I saw him go in, and I was like, so hearing some of his old interviews, how he hated Trump, and every other word he would say is fuck and cunt and cock, and it's like, oh man, this guy, I'm like, yes, this is gonna be one of the best, most entertaining press secretaries ever. And then Scaramucci was kicked out by John Kelly, and now basically Sarah Huckabee Sanders is the main press secretary. So in all, it was a massive shakeup, but at the end of the day, nothing really changed, because back when Spicer was the press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was still doing all the White House press briefings, which was kind of weird. So whatever. It was funny for a couple days, but not really a big deal. So I saw actually one of my favorite investigative journalists pretty much out there right now, Abby Martin. She sent a tweet that said, like, Trump has increased drone bombings by 400%. And I was like, wow. And, called him the drone king. I was like, is that really true? Because here we are, talking about Scaramucci, and we're talking about Saturday Night Live, and we're talking about, Russia, and we're talking about this, the P scandal and the dossier and all this shit that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And then we have Trump dropping just massive amounts of drone bombs on people and increasing how many people are actually dying. So I looked into it, because I was like, no way, that can't be. I mean, it doesn't shock me, but I can't believe I didn't know that or didn't hear about it. So here's some of the numbers. So this is for Iraq and Syrian civilian casualties by U.S.-led airstrikes against or targeting, quote unquote, ISIS. So as of July 13th, over 2,200 civilians died since Trump took office. So only in 6 months, about 2,200 civilians have been killed. Not ISIS members, just civilians. And that's according from an independent military tracking organization. And so if this pace continues, the number, it will easily surpass what Obama did when he was president, because during his tenure, about the same period from 2014 to 2016, Obama killed 2,300 civilians. Only a little bit less. But so during Obama's, while he was in office, he basically was killing 80 civilians per month. Obama was killing 80 civilians per month throughout Obama's presidency. And right now, Trump, he's at about 360 civilians per month. Trump is killing. So yeah, it went from Obama killing 80 civilians a month to Trump going up and killing 360 a month. And this is just getting ridiculous, because we also know that a lot of this isn't really doing much, because this is out of forwardpolicy.com. President Obama, when he announced the start of the U.S.-led intervention in August 2014 against ISIS. So the CIA estimated that the militant army, they had about 20 to 30,000 fighters, according to the State Department's annual report. So, and then they estimated that 20 to 30,000 was reduced about to 12,000 to 15,000 in 2016. So about cut in half, more or less. And then now, in 2017, they're saying that they killed conservatively 60 to 70,000 ISIS Islamic fighters. So they estimated that it's about 20,000 were there originally. And then in 2016, the next year, about cut in half, 12,000 to 15,000. However, now, over those few years, we've killed 60 to 70,000 people. So what that's saying is massive amounts of people are going to this area in order to fight. So just like Osama bin Laden wanted back when he he quote unquote did 9/11, he said he wanted to bring America here, bring them across the country, because he knew, just like Russia and just like any other imperial power, if you bring them to you and you fight on your soil and you drain them of their resources and their moral will to fight anymore, you will win. And that's kind of what's happening here. And it's ridiculous that now we're on the 17th year. We were talking earlier in the interview, they mentioned the military-industrial complex and how these wars have been going on forever and they're never ending. And like I just read in the statistics, we have still 20,000 people, fighters there who are fighting. However, the problem is that more are going to come there like a magnet. They're just going to flock to that area. So we can kill, like they're saying, 15 to 20,000 and then pull the number down, kill about 70,000 over a few years. However, there's only going to be 20,000 more next year, because people from all over the country or all over the world, all over the many Middle Eastern countries, these people are going to this area in order to fight Americans. That's what this has become. It's become a battleground. And there's no way of fixing this. I mean, we had George Bush, who would go capture people and torture them, keep them indefinitely in Guantanamo Bay. And then you had Obama pretend to close down Guantanamo Bay, but not really. But then he's like, okay, instead of torturing people, I'm just going to kill 80 civilians a month. I'm just going to kill the Islamic fighters instead, or the ISIS or Al-Qaeda or whoever they are. And we're just going to bomb them with drones, and it's no big deal. So now Trump has the mantle, Trump has the power, and he's upping what Obama did. And who's really surprised? Who's surprised? Obama, he actually was saying that he was going to ramp it down and he was going to close Gitmo and he was going to do these things, and he lied and he didn't. Trump said he was going to continue this stuff, and he's continuing it. He's ramping it up. So I don't know why anyone is surprised. No one should be surprised that now Trump is on average killing 300 and something civilians a month. That's his average. And with all this war posturing with North Korea, that we just placed more sanctions on North Korea. Also, with everything with Russia, we placed more sanctions on Russia. Well, the UN placed sanctions on North Korea, and then America placed, or the Congress, which Trump had to sign, because if he would have vetoed it, the Congress would have overrid his veto. So those sanctions on Russia had went through no matter what because of the Congress. So now we have sanctions on North Korea and on Russia, who is probably pissing them off more. We have this Middle East, who's just an area, this chaos, this catastrophe that we caused, that we started in 2013 when we invaded Iraq. That's what caused this problem. It created this magnet for jihadist fighters or anyone with a gripe to go and fight, or people who want to go there and make money off of war, because for both sides, war is profitable and it's great money. So this is just something that the news is not really talking about. Yeah, they're going to talk about North Korea, they're going to talk about Russia, but they're not really ramping up. They're only talking about the conspiracy, and then with North Korea, it's not as big of a deal for us, but they're pretending like North Korea is going to be the end of the world. But I don't think any one specific of these conflicts could be World War III or could be a big deal. However, I do think all of these conflicts all over the world definitely is not going to help create stability. This isn't going in the right direction. So we as Americans, we don't really have a lot of power over, what our Congress does with North Korea, or what the UN does with North Korea, or what our Congress does with Russia. However, we do have a lot of power over the military-industrial complex and war, and people just don't realize that the more you talk about the war, the more you talk about how many civilians are being killed, and according to the CIA, every time you kill one civilian, you create 10 more terrorists. That's called blowback. This is a CIA coined term, and we're going out. Obama was killing 80 civilians per month, and then they're surprised that you can kill 60 to 70,000 ISIS fighters. That's not even civilians, ISIS fighters, in about 2.5 years. But then there's still 20,000 there, like how it's been when we first invaded. So you can kill 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 100,000, 200,000 fighters. Here's the thing. It's going to keep growing, because the more people you kill, then the more people you're pissing off. You're creating more blowback, which will create more fighters to come and join this insane war that's going on right now between these jihadists, insane people, and also people who have no other option. Also people who have a justified grievance against America now, that because we went in and completely have destabilized entire countries. So they're justifiably pissed off at America, and a lot of them have joined these far right loony religious whack jobs. So, and that's the whole problem. We're giving them validity to their argument. Yes, America hates us. Well, we're bombing them, we're killing them. So yeah, it sure does look like we hate them when we kill somewhere around anywhere from 80 to 300 civilians a month. It does look like we just hate them. This is not the kind of foreign policy that is going to create a stable world. All right, that's enough of that, because that's just crazy. And I don't know what's really going to happen, but it's definitely interesting to watch. Now, one more thing before I wanted to wrap up Open Mike's last call. I wanted to kind of talk about this. It started as a conspiracy theory, and now it's kind of leaking more into alternative news. It's the Awan brothers. So there's these two IT brothers, and they worked for like 22 Democratic House members, Congress members. And then they also worked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It was the two brothers, their wives, and a bunch of family members. And they were getting paid millions of dollars to do IT work, which is a lot more than what you'd pay a typical IT specialist. And really what happened is the one Amran Awan, he just got arrested, or he was just arrested on basically bank fraud. And when he was arrested, it took him all the way to be arrested for Debbie Wasserman Schultz to finally fire him. So that's what everyone's kind of wondering. What dirt does he have on Debbie Wasserman Schultz when a lot of these other Congress members, they dropped him months ago, back when he was actually starting to be under investigation by the FBI. And he was trying to flee to Pakistan when they picked him up in the airport before he was leaving. So if you're under investigation by the FBI and you have a hunch that something is going to happen, and then you decide you're going to flee the country to try to go to Pakistan, you're probably not the most innocent of people. So, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is basically crying that he's being persecuted simply because he's Muslim, not because he did anything wrong, which it's kind of the typical playbook here of the left. Hillary Clinton was, we'll just brand all Trump supporters as racist and sexist. And here, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is going and using the same playbook and saying, if you're prosecuting Imran Awan, it's definitely because he's Muslim and you are persecuting him because of his religion, which I don't know, because he had several, which this is where the conspiracy theory started, is he had several bashed hard drives and laptops and iPads from Debbie Wasserman Schultz and other House congressionary members that were beat up and destroyed in one of his rental homes. And those computers and all that data and all that hardware got turned over to the Capitol Police. And that's basically started that meme. And when Debbie Wasserman Schultz threatened one of the Capitol Police, the head Capitol Police, saying, there's going to be severe consequences if you don't give us these laptops back to our staffers. And now she's saying she has no idea what the laptops are, and they're not her laptops. So this whole thing started as a weird conspiracy theory, and I was just writing it off just as that. But now it's starting to look like something is going on, something fishy. A lot of people are connecting this with the Seth Rich case. A lot of the conspiracy theorists are connecting, which, I hate calling people conspiracy theorists, but, the realm of alternative questioning. I don't know what else to call it, but there's a lot of people who are saying possibly Imran Awan was one who took out Seth Rich, or he was the one who was passing on some of the DNC leaked information, or he's working with a spy government. So there's a lot of speculation on what's out there, but the whole thing is the official story looks really fishy, and it's just something's going on. Because first, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is demanding to get these laptops back. Now she's saying they're not hers. She kept this guy on all the way until the day he was arrested, where everyone else dropped him like a hot potato months and months ago. So it just makes you really wonder. And we all know Debbie Wasserman Schultz is probably one of the most corrupt politicians in both parties. She was the one who single-handedly pretty much guaranteed Hillary Clinton the victory in the 2016 primaries. She had to step down from her position because that came out, that she was lying to the Democratic Party. And she was lying to the people and saying that they weren't colluding when they were. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz really has a bad track record. And now that this is all coming out, we'll see where it goes, and we'll have to watch this really closely. But I am going to keep watching, and I'll probably bring that up in another open mics night, last call little section, once I have more information and more solid information, once this case actually goes to court. And then we can get the transcripts and see what actually came out. It's going to be very fascinating because something's going on. If it's just some bank fraud, stuff, maybe some illegal money wiring or something. That's going to be interesting, but it might have something to do with classified information. Debbie Wasserman Schultz connected with Hillary Clinton. What a surprise, right? It's crazy. It's crazy times we are living in, and like I've been saying the whole time, it is glad that I'm here. We'll be here to document it all with you, and it's awesome to be back. So thanks so much, and thanks again to New Crimes for stopping by the Punk Rock and Politics podcast, and we'll check you guys out next week. Peace out. Thanks for checking out Punk Rock and Politics. If you enjoyed the show and the information brought to you, please subscribe and share the podcast. It helps us here at Punk Rock and Politics, but more importantly, it helps the featured bands gain exposure. Also, if you know any bands or musicians who would like to join the political mosh pit and have their music featured on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast, please email us at punkrockandpolitics@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. And rock on, political junkies.
I think our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
Doing a better job of talking to each other. The left hand now knows what the right hand is doing.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. All right.